Hey, what up, everybody? This is Stevie Breech coming to you. It's a rainy day here in Sacramento on my day off. Just one of those kind of crappy days. Both of my kids are sick. I had to take them to the doctor this morning, get them all checked out. So, all in all, this just to be a lazy day, laying around the house. Was flipping around on Twitter, go on WWE DVD news, and bam, pretty much some good news just to start the day. Here we go. I guess if you have Netflix online, where you can watch it on your computer, your Wii, your PS3, or anything else. They have uploaded the new Big Show DVD, A Giant's World, and I checked it out. Honestly, I felt like it was like something that you were watching before it's released in stores. So I sort of felt like I was stealing something. It was like I was getting a sneak preview of something that was pretty cool. So I checked that out this morning. All in all, when it comes to the WWE docs, they're always pretty good. They always tell a pretty good story. But at the end of this one, I was left with a whole bunch of holes. Just a whole bunch of stuff that they didn't talk about. It's a 59-minute documentary. Basically, the first 10 of it, honestly, is talking about how he grew up, his mom, his dad, living on the farm, fixing cars, playing on the basketball team, crap like that. Just sort of like living in the world. Tells a good story. Well, basically, when they talk about all that old stuff, growing up and all that stuff, I always hate that on the DVDs. Honestly, if you're not like living in a wrestling family, like if they're gonna do a Randy Orton documentary and they talk about living with Bob, going on the road, meeting the larger than life superstars like Hulk Hogan and stuff, that might be cool. But when you're just an average Joe, honestly, I don't really care. And that's always a part of the documentary that I watched the first time, but every time I watch after that, I just skip, move on. I want to see some wrestling. I want to see how you moved up in the world. And so that stuff was kind of boring to me. But then moved on to a pretty good story about how he was selling cars, and that's how he was making a living until one month when he didn't sell a car, and his first paycheck came and it was negative $12. He owed the car dealership $12 to work there, which was just like, wow. I've never really understood the car dealership world, but I guess if you're a car dealer, you owe the people that you work for money at the end of the day if you don't sell anything, which is way bizarre. But that's how he moved on to something else. Danny Bonaducci is the one that introduced him to Jimmy Hart and Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan's the one who looked at him, saw dollar signs on him, and pushed him into the power plant. Other things that I learned from the documentary that I didn't know, that William Regal was one of the first wrestlers to ever reach out to the Big Show. He looked at him, he saw something cool. They were living in the same apartment complex when he was training at the power plant. So Regal was able to spark up a friendship with him. While in the power plant, another wrestler that was training at the same time was none other than Triple H. Triple H, who was being trained at the power plant as well, with Terry Taylor at the time, the Red Rooster. And they said that they used to just push Big Show to the top, and then everybody knows once they hit WCW, he hit the ground running real fast, was in a big feud with Hulk Hogan. Of course, when you're a star found by Hulk Hogan, you're going to find yourself in the main event as fast as possible. And he won the title, but honestly, they didn't even really talk about him beating Hogan for the title at all. I don't know if it was because they didn't want to have Hulk Hogan involved in this DVD that much. Honestly, they wouldn't, put footage of him talking on there, I don't believe. But I mean, they could have at least shown, him talk about pinning Hogan for the title and then moving on from that. They mostly just said he was the champion, he was the guy supporting WCW, and then they threw him right in to talking about NW Hollywood when he joined, and that it was Hulk's show, and that Hulk was sort of pushing the Giant down the card, and that's what got him mad to the point that he was leaving, is because he couldn't showcase his talents anymore, because once he got to the point where he put Hogan over, Hogan was the one who sort of took everything away from him and pushed him to the back, and he moved on to greener pastures into the WWE. I talked about how impressed he was when he joined the WWE, that just hitting the gates running. Basically, they had all of his little well, not Mattel then. There were Jakks. All of his Jakks action figures. They had them all ready for him when he signed, to show him, this is what we're gonna do to put you out there. These are our T-shirt designs for you. This is where your character is gonna be moving. Basically, he said that in WCW, I forget what kind of territory. He called it like Elmer's territory, something like that. Sort of just like saying that they were slow, they were behind the times. Basically, WCW booked week to week, and they didn't have an idea where anybody was going at the time because everybody had to agree with everybody where everybody was doing. While in the WWE, you had one or two guys making all the decisions, so you knew which direction all the superstars were going, and that there was no misdirection. You know, things always change, but for the most part, you know where you're going. And he was very, very surprised by that. From there, it sort of they talked about him hiding underneath the ring for his debut at St. Valentine's Massacre against uh, Vince McMahon and Steve Austin. He said that was the biggest way that he could have made his debut. Made him look like he was $1,000,000 throwing Austin around the ring. But then the whole start again. Basically, he just sort of jumps right in to his feud with the Boss Man. Where they don't really talk about the feud with the Boss Man. They talk about more of the death of his father, which actually happened years before. I believe it was 7 years in '92. And then in '99, he was able to relive it, and that's how he finally got closure on his dad's death, which was actually pretty cool. But everybody remembers Boss Man pulling that casket and Big Show jumping on top of it. And he said the only reason why they did that for the angle was to try to bring some laughter to it. But honestly, I think people are still laughing about that years later because that's what most people remember about that. And I was always mixed up a little bit because I guess he won the title after that, and for some reason I thought that was his first feud when he won the championship. So I was a little bit mixed up. So I was glad that I got fixed up. They said that the reason why they needed to add comedy to the whole Boss Man thing is because people were taking it to the extreme. They were sending Boss Man death threats for the thing he was saying about Boss Man's father. I guess some people just want to believe that wrestling is 100% real and all the angles that they run and all the promos people are really real. Maybe they think that the Boss Man really cooked Al Snow's dog too. But all in all, they fly through his WWE career pretty fast. They show him winning the title for the first time at the Survivor Series. Talks about how it sort of came out of nowhere, and he admitted that he didn't really know it was going to happen. And then right after he wins the title, he said he felt like he was on top of the world, and he got set back down to Ohio Valley Wrestling, the minor leagues. He was basically the guy that was down there to work on everything. Not on the DVD when he was involved in Ohio Valley Wrestling. This is when he chokeslammed Artie Reynolds from Wrestle Crap Radio and ended his wrestling career basically because Artie misdid the bump. He has said it in his show and his interviews before that it was 100% his fault, not the Big Show's fault, but the Big Show is the one who chokeslammed him. And I believe he really, really hurt his back to the point that Artie thought at the point he wasn't going to walk again. Moving on from there, you know, he basically got back into shape, learned what he was doing, became very, very humble. Triple H said that he had a lot of heat in the locker room for thinking that he was, you know, the main man of the WWE. Maybe he was put into that spot a little too early, but if you think about it at that point, I remember in the dirt sheets they said that Vince really, really wanted a big guy as the champion to go against the WCW's champion at the time, and that was the main reason why they picked the Big Show. But the Big Show wasn't a horrible champion. He did get to the point where he got really, really big. He slimmed down for when he made his return, which wasn't on the DVD. I remember it happened on a SmackDown. He came down and he was throwing guys around the ring. I believe he put somebody through the announce table, but I can't really remember what happened. I should have looked that up before I started talking about it. But that was very, very cool. I remember when he was slimmed down, he looked like a whole different dude that just had the Big Show's face, and he was a monstrous guy. They talk about his WC. No, I apologize. They talk about his ECW run for maybe about a minute and a half. John Cena says that he's the best champion they could have picked to give ECW credibility, and right at the point he says that, he's pinning Rob Van Dam. I don't know if that's a slam on Rob Van Dam or not, but I believe that when you made Rob Van Dam your first ECW champion at the same time he was your WWE champion, I believe that gave a whole bunch of credibility to him. And the whole reason why Big Show became the title is because he was speeding through the town with Sabu, got pulled over smoking that joint, and everybody knows that. But I guess if they want to change history a little bit, then that gives one thing for Gem Knight to fuel his fire about that. And they fly through that. They don't talk about him leaving WWE at all. They just show his return when he came back, and the whole started the whole Money Mayweather WrestleMania push where Money Mayweather punched him 5 times in the face. Dude, that was crazy. Even watching it now on the DVD, I still mark out like crazy for it. It was too bad. As everybody knows, Rey Mysterio was supposed to be involved in that angle, but he got hurt. and he got taken out of it. That was the reason why you always saw Mayweather and Mysterio together before that. Um, all in all, he comes back. They don't talk about any of his championship wins after that. They put over his Money Mayweather fight really well, to the point to where he says after he punched Big Show in the nose, the way he did, he knew he broke. He knew Mayweather knew he broke Big Show's nose and was actually fearing for his life. And they said that the Big Show stormed out of the ring like the bulls of Pampinola over there in Spain. And that Manny Mayweather said, "We gotta get the hell out of here. He's gonna kill us." Um, and then they talk about him working every day, and then he's moved on to the point now where he travels everywhere in the U.S. by bus. Says that he's not looking to retire. They put over Knuckleheads. They talk about Knuckleheads for about 10 minutes. They can't talk about any of his WWE title runs except for that first one for the most part, or any of his other angles that are well thought of. He thanked The Undertaker for taking him under his wing in the learning tree. Said a lot of the stuff they learned about being in a WWE ring is from The Undertaker, but all in all, this is a good documentary. I just wanted to warn people that there are a lot of holes in there. There are going to be people that come on here and probably bash it. Everybody bashes WB DVDs. If they don't love them, they always find the holes in them. And I just wanted to point them out. But say that the documentary is still real good. It's pretty cool that you can watch it for free, or well, I guess you're paying for it, but on Netflix right now, and you don't have to run out to the store and buy it next Tuesday. I have this thing where I don't really buy DVDs new anymore. I will run to the store or order them online, the Blu-rays. I always like getting the Blu-rays first in. I started buying them mostly because I thought that one of them was going to be rare with that Best Buy exclusive deal. None of them really panned out, but the Blu-rays I will always run to the store and pick those up. Those seem special to me. The DVDs, pay-per-views, and the 2-disc, 3-disc biographies. I sort of just wait for those unless it's I really want. The Big Show one was one that I was just saying, I know before long that's going to be a used copy and I can pick it up for $8-9. That's how I pick up most of the DVDs out there. So hopefully this review helps you out. Make sure you head on over to Netflix if you got it. If not, do that trial run and just watch it for free and cancel it after, I guess. This is Stevie Breech. Thank you very much.